Sometimes I feel like I am just on a hamster wheel going around and around and around and around in circles. It was just 2 weeks ago that I spent 3 days in the Marie Antoinette room trying to get it prepared for a friend that was coming up to visit. I redid my living room / parlor yesterday, and this is where everything went. This is a box actually that I am collecting things for charity. This I'm going to give to a friend. These are going to go into storage. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. Probably, I don't know. But, oh, look. Oh, Lunar, am I disturbing you? I didn't know you were in here. What's wrong with your nose? Are you taking shelter from the crazy storm that is your mama? What a good boy. So I don't have any of my paintings in here anymore or my prints, so I have to figure that out. I took the lamp and put it in the parlor, and then I took the lamp that was in the parlor and put it in here, but that just does not match the Marie Antoinette room at all. My loom is in here, and then these are all the leftover paintings and prints that didn't go. I think this one's gonna go to charity. I'm gonna give that one to charity. I don't know. And look, all this is messed up now. Everything was so pretty, and now it's all messy again. You are still very, very beautiful. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to drink some coffee, which I've had a lot already. I still need a second cup. I always do 2 cups in the morning. And I'm going to pull myself together, put on a pretty dress, and probably drive to Modesto. I'm kind of thinking maybe Jackson. Modesto or Jackson. They're about the same distance apart. So I'm going to go and I'm going to be in search of Marie Antoinette room replacements, because we can't leave the Marie Antoinette room such a mess. That would be horrible. So I'm off to see the wizard, and I'm taking you with me. I have a full cup of coffee. I'm in the Jeep. I put on a pretty dress. So cute, if I do say so myself. And I still don't know where I'm going. I had made the decision to go to Jackson. Jackson is another gold rush town, and it's full of antique stores, which I think if I'm going to find stuff for the Marie Antoinette room specifically, I'm going to have to probably hit up some antique stores. And I realized it's Monday, and a lot of the antique stores in the gold rush towns are closed on Mondays because they're tourist towns for the most part. And Monday's a really slow day, so they usually close up on Monday. So I'm rethinking the idea of going to Jackson, and I think I'm just going to go down to Modesto. However, there is an antique mall there that I've only been to once, and I don't even really remember where it is. I just was in a thrift store, and there was a woman that told me to go to this antique mall and that it was really fabulous. And so I did, and it was really fabulous, but it was really super pricey. And so I've just never been back. I might try to find that. I might try to Google it or somehow find it. So it looks like I'm going back to Modesto. I will take you to Jackson someday, I promise. It's such a fun little place. I love Jackson so much. So let's get going. So I'm stopping at this little thrift store before I hit the antique mall because it's on the way. I'm manifesting Marie Antoinette vibes things like shoes, cake, paintings of the French Revolution period, things like that. This is funny. I was actually trying to manifest shoes or cake. No, I'm not going to get it for the Marie Antoinette Room, but wouldn't that be funny? Okay, so I think I need to revise my manifestation technique. I manifested a cake. OMG, that was kind of funny. Yeah, when I said cake, I sort of meant like a painting of a cake or maybe little cakes. I don't know, because, you know, she was supposedly had said, let them eat cake, although that has been disputed and they say that she did not say that. However, since I am a cake lover and I'm a Marie Antoinette lover, I want to believe that she said, let them eat cake, because I like cake. I stopped into Hobby Lobby to see if there was just a little this or that I could find for the Marie Antoinette Room, and I saw this. It is $16, but it's 50% off. I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted, but I'm kind of afraid Lunar would think I was making fun of him, and he would be right. I think I'm gonna pass on it. It's so cute though. Oh my gosh, the day is half gone. I haven't even made it off the main strip in Modesto. I'm starving. It's almost 1 o'clock. I'm gonna head over to Panera. I'm gonna get myself something to eat, a sandwich and maybe something with caffeine in it. And then I'm going to try to find the antique mall. Rookie mistake. Not checking the store hours before driving 2 hours to another town to go to their massive antique mall, because they're closed on Mondays. Should have went to Jackson. Oh my God. It was okay. I had a good day out. I'm gonna hit up some thrift stores before I leave, though, but it is getting late. I didn't even think to look at the store hours. I went in to sit down to get myself something to eat and have a nice little sit down lunch, and I looked it up so that I could get the directions to get there, and it said closed, and I was like, closed? Did they close down? And they said no, just closed on Mondays. So the first thing I see when I walk in is this amazing dresser. It's got some problems here. But I could take care of that gold leaf. A little dirty here and there. OMG. It's kind of pricey though. I think that's just too much. $70. I don't think I can do it. As much as I love it, I don't think I can do it. So here's a kind of a funky little frame, but I could antique it, and it's only $343. So I think I'm gonna get that and see if I can find something Marie Antoinette-esque to put in it. Oh my God, that was the most chaotic thrift store I think I've ever been in my life. There were all these people, and they were yelling at each other and yelling at their kids, all of them speaking languages that I didn't understand. I didn't know if they were yelling at me. I was trying to find out information about the dresser. The guy at the counter was like on this that thing, walkie-talkie, and he's like, everybody's yelling, kids are running wild, moms are yelling at the kids. Oh my gosh. And then a little old lady standing there, didn't speak English. She's just standing there with a little bin. There's nothing in the bin. She's just holding on to the bin. And I said, do you need to go up to the counter? And she's like, I'm not, don't include me in this, like in this insanity. I almost said the F word. It was crazy. And so, so then I go to pay for my frame, which was $3.70 or something like that. And, he's like, oh, you have to pay cash if it's under $10. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I dig it out, and I had like literally 3 $1 bills and 75 cents, 3/4. So then I said, okay, here you go. And he's like, okay, you're going to have to hang on a minute for me to get your change. And I was like, keep the change. It was like 2 cents. I'm like, I'm out of here. let me get out of this crazy place. So I got a frame, didn't get the dresser, kind of obsessing about the dresser. But man, it was crazy in there. I don't think I would have gotten the dresser anyway, but I kind of wanted to talk to somebody about it. But okay, I'm gonna soldier on because I'm tough that way. I was able to find an antique mall just by chance. I was driving past and saw the sign, and so I thought I'd come in and take a look at what I could find in here. I love this. That has given me a great idea to make a little tiny greenhouse for my herbs. That is so cute. Wow, too bad I'm not purchasing for my own bedroom. Look at this mirror. It's probably a good 6 feet tall. Oh my gosh, it's fabulous. I would love to buy that for my room. Price, however, not so much. Wow, look at that candelabra. That is so beautiful. Price, not so beautiful, but that candelabra is probably 7.5 or 8 feet tall. It's got to be a good 1.5 feet taller than I am. Wow, that's pretty. I did say I wanted a picture of shoes, but I was thinking more of the line like upscale Marie Antoinette style shoes. I do need a lamp. I don't think this is Marie Antoinette style, but I do think it's a pretty good price. So I think I'm gonna get it for the Cottage and just see where it ends up. I have one more thrift store to stop at, but I don't think I'm gonna stop at that thrift store because I'm so tired. In the back of my mind, or I should say like on the back burner, every time I go to a thrift store, I look for a spice rack. I'm looking for a wooden spice rack with all the little spice bottles in it to put in my kitchen. So I go up there and I'm like, ah. And she's like, oh. And I said, do you have any rice packs? She says, rice packs? We don't have rice packs. And I said, no, I didn't say rice packs. I said spice racks. And she's like, no, you said rice packs. And so we laughed and laughed. And then she said, I think you're tired and you need to go home. And I said, I think I am too. Oh man, don't you love it when just random thrift store workers start worrying about you and taking care of you? Honey, oh, and she did tell me, you need to get some water. She's like, I think you need to get some water and go home and get some rest. And I said, I think that's a really good idea. So I am taking the thrift store lady's advice, and I am going to stop and get some water, and then I'm going to go home and get some rest. Good morning and welcome to the Willow Cottage. Yesterday I went on a really wild thrifting adventure and I got some things. My goal was, not my goal, my plan was to go antiquing, to get things to replace the objects that I stole from the Marie Antoinette Room to put in my parlor. So I started off on the adventure and then realized really quickly that the antique stores were the big mall that I wanted to go to was closed. So I did hit up about 6 thrift stores. I didn't find anything really fabulous, to be honest. I did find this shelf, and ironically, this wasn't on my list, but it's been on like kind of a back burner list. Let's see, it was $4.99. And it's been like on a back burner list for the Marie Antoinette Room. I've wanted a shelf to specifically go underneath a mirror that I have in there so that when my guests come, they can put whatever things they want on here, like a hairbrush or maybe their touch-up makeup or whatever they want to have in their room, so that when they're getting ready to go somewhere, or if we're just popping in for a few minutes to refresh, they'll have a little place that they can put all their little things underneath the mirror. So this is something I've been wanting for a long time. $4.99. Not extraordinary, but definitely needed and has been on my list for a while. This hasn't ever been on my list. And in fact, I probably spent way too much for it. And then it's like those things happen to me sometimes. I think it's my ADHD where I get hyper, super laser focused on something and I can't shake it. I think my phone is crooked. There we go. Is that better? Anyway, I can't shake the obsession that I get. Like, I got this idea of having a bird cage in the Marie Antoinette Room. It's a big bird cage. I'm not sure it was the greatest idea. That still remains to be seen. It was $24.99. It was $25, which is unheard of for me to spend on something as frivolous as this. And then the reality is, okay, so it doesn't have anything to hang it. Like, there's no hole. I'd have to drill a hole in there, which is fine if I need to, and get a chain and hang it from the ceiling, which I may end up doing. I do have a plant stand that it would stand on, and that's what I was thinking in my mind. So I was thinking in my mind, when I was in the thrift store, I could pull out the old plant stand. It's in the barn in storage, and I can just put it on that, and it would be so cute and all the things and blah, blah, blah. And I could just get some little birds and put a twig in there and put little birds perched on the twig. And okay, so this is where my mind was going. When I got back, I had to go into the Marie Antoinette Room for something. Everything was still in the Jeep. I left it in there overnight. I was just too tired to unload it. So there's no place to put a stand. There is literally not a nook or corner or anywhere to put a stand for the bird cage. I don't even really think there's a place to hang the bird cage. I don't know. The bird cage may end up in the barn in storage. I don't know. I don't know. It's so big. And then one of the things that I did was I bought to go with it. So the bird cage was $25. These were $4 a piece, but they were on sale half off. They're not ceramic, they're resin. So they were $2 a piece. And here's one that sits like this. And then his little mate sits, wait a minute, one sits kind of down, like that. So that's how they sit. So I'm going to put them on a perch in the bird cage. But that wasn't enough. I had to get, I don't know why I had to get this one. This one was $5.99, so it was $3 on sale. But then I got this guy, and he's huge compared to the other two. So look at the size difference. I don't know how I'm going to make that work in the bird cage. So I spent $25, $27, $20, $29, $30, $32 on something I have no idea where it's even gonna go, if it's even gonna land in here. I mean, I'm kind of thinking like when I get oh God, I want to say my tiny home, but I can't. When I get my mobile home, I hope I'm going to look for one that has like a sunroom. So that'll go in the sunroom for sure, amongst the plants, and then the plant stands, and then the bird cage. It'll be really pretty. So that might be a future project. I don't think it's gonna fit in the Marie Antoinette room. So, and then I just bought myself some headbands at Hobby Lobby. That's all I bought at Hobby Lobby. And then I got this. How much was this? $5, it says. So this was $5. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It seems kind of funky. Not funky, it seems kind of kitschy. Like kitschy to have in the Marie Antoinette room. So I don't know, I might find a place in the parlor to put it. I don't know. Castle core, right? So, okay. I wasn't thinking castle core. I was thinking Marie Antoinette. However, I was just thinking if I just wanted to even go into this. I was explaining this to one of the thrift store women. She was asking me like, well, what are you looking for? Can I help you? And whatever. She was super nice. And I told her it's kind of weird. I'm doing this room as a nod to Marie Antoinette. And she's like, oh, Marie Antoinette pictures and stuff like that. And I said, no, that's okay. So that's where I'm getting hung up. I don't want it to be a tribute to Marie Antoinette, as in I'm a fan of Marie Antoinette. I want it to be much more subtle than that. I want it to be a tribute to Marie Antoinette as if it were a room in one of her castles or chateaus. So that's where I'm kind of going for. I'm kind of going for the period, the decadence, the opulence that Marie Antoinette would have had in one of her rooms in her castle or chateau. Of course, I can't do it like it would have been her room because I can't afford that. That's all gold and gilded and things, like an absolutely gorgeous dresser that I could not afford to buy. Those are the things that would go in there if it were actually her room. So I'm trying to give it a nod to the period, to her aesthetic, and also just something that she may have had in one of her castles or her chateaus at Versailles. Who knows? So that's what I'm kind of going for her room, for the Marie Antoinette room. This is just a daisy. This is just a doily that I bought that goes with a whole bunch of other ones I have. I have a bunch of these. I paid $3 for it, and they're all identical. And so I use them for placemats when I have like little tea parties or dinner parties or whatever kind of parties. And then this didn't have a price on it, but she just gave it to me. She's like, you could just have that. It's a little bag. Isn't that cute? And it's all crocheted. Like somebody made that homemade. So I went up and I said, this doesn't have a price on it. And she said, you can just have that. So here's the other part to it. So she gave me the little bag. And I was able, so the woman at the other thrift store, not the one that gave me the bag, she gave me this really great idea. So when we were talking about, I just want it to be kind of a nod to the time period, blah, 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 blah. So I said, can you hear the sirens going off? It's noon. The siren goes off at noon every day from we have this really sweet little firehouse here. It's engine number 1, firehouse number 1. It's super cute. Anyway, so it goes off every day at noon. And the thing that I absolutely love is if you're around anyone, and these people could have been here since birth, since their grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents, like since they settled Columbia, they could all be here. And if the siren goes off, inevitably one person in the group, even if there's just 2 people, someone will say, "Oh, it's noon." So cute. I love it. I love it. In fact, I was telling that to my friend. Like one day it went off and I was telling her exactly what I just said. And so then the next day, for whatever reasons, we made the decision to go into Columbia. And so we're in Columbia, and then one of my friends opened up the hotels and gave us a little impromptu tour of the hotel. So of the hotels, the historic hotels that have been here since the town was built. So then we're walking down the main little road right there, and excuse me, and we're walking down there, and the siren goes off, and the friend that had just given the tour said, "Oh, it's noon, I better get going." So it's super cute. Anyway, okay, so back to the story about the woman in the thrift store that was kind of trying to help me, and I was explaining to her that I want the aesthetic more than the kitschiness of it. So she came up with this really great idea, because I'd been telling her, I'm just kind of looking for paintings of maybe cake or old shoes or something like that, you know? And she said, well, if you get the frames, so I got, hold on, gosh, what happened here? Oh, there's only one nail holding all this together? Well, that's pretty dangerous. So I got, this one was 50 cents because it wasn't marked. I mean, it's got, somebody just didn't, anyway, it's got a tag, nothing's on the tag, so they gave it to me for 50 cents. So I got this one. So I'm going to get to what she suggested I do. Oh, there's the other nail. I'm like, that's really dangerous, only one nail in there. Okay, and so then this one is just another frame, and of course I'm going to take that out, and I'll probably have this one upright. And then this one. And of course, I'll antique them and make them look kind of that aesthetic that I like. So her suggestion was, she ran over to the magazines and she said, oh, you know what you could do? I love it when people get excited for my vision. She said, because I said, you know, maybe some pictures like castles or whatever. So I was just kind of giving her some ideas, some landscape, whatever. And so she runs over and she picks up the Victoria magazine. And she said, oh, I bet if you go through these magazines, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And I can't remember which one it was, but this wasn't one of them, but I was kind of thinking like something like this would be really, really cool in a gold frame, like on a gallery wall in there. So things like that. So she got really excited and she got me really excited. And the first one I picked up, was it this one? Oh yeah, this one, because it has, hang on, I'm so sorry. It has pictures of like chateaus in it. So that's something that exactly what I was looking for. They're small, so the pictures are going to be, the frames are going to be kind of, you know, small, obviously, but it's kind of cool. And so then I said, so she pulled out the Victoria first, and then she said, I said, oh, you know, I wonder if they have pictures of really beautifully decadently decorated cakes. And I'm kind of flipping through it, and she said, these probably will. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these, and they're called Tea Time. And I'm not kidding you, these were like a dime a piece. So really, really fun ideas. I haven't had a good chance to go through them, but really, really good ideas in here. Anyway, got to put them down, or Sorry, I threw them and it hit the leg. Being rude. So I think what I'm going to do, I have 3 frames and I have two pictures in there already that I'm going to hang. One is of a drawing of an old shoe that I had in my bedroom, and I took it out of my bedroom to put in the Marie Antoinette room. And the other one is, if you remember back a while back ago, I got this really large, beautiful, I don't know if it's cross stitch or if it wasn't embroidery, but maybe cross stitch scene, a medieval scene of women in a castle. I think they're playing the piano or some kind of musical instrument. So I'm going to put that in there. And so that's going to be my main picture. And then I'm going to start a gallery wall around it because it's not very big. So I'm going to start a gallery wall around it and then kind of wrap that around to the side of the bed. So what that means is I need more picture frames. So today, I think after I go through the thrift haul, I'm going to try to find some more picture frames. And then next week, I'm going to get started on cleaning the Marie Antoinette room. However, I'm not done with the haul. I have one more thing to show you. It's not going to go in the Marie Antoinette room. I knew it when I bought it, but I just really fell in love with it, and it's so cottagey. So it's this. Okay, I do not want to break this. Okay, so this was $19.99, so it was 20 bucks, and I needed a lamp for the Marie Antoinette room. So what I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this, and I tested it at the store and it works. It needs to be tightened up. It's kind of wobbly, but I am just in love with this lamp. I'm gonna put this one in my bedroom. Before I can do that, I have lots of other things to do today. So I am heading out to see if I can find more smaller frames because I think I want to paint them and antique them all at the same time. However, I do like having wooden frames if they're ornate enough. I do like having wooden frames mixed in with the gold leaf frame. It kind of breaks the wall up or the color up a little bit. So I am okay with that. So I might be finding or looking for some wooden frames too. So I'm off, and I'd like to ask you to stay tuned and stay whimsical.